Last time on Square Roots, the clone class reunion kicks it off with a blast, Cloud tears it up on the slopes, and Tifa and Cloud say goodbye to the third wheel. Don't let the materia hit you on the way out, girl. Bye!
And welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Sant.
Heyo.
John Huge Materia Brandon.
Big, large, huge materia?
And Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs. This is episode 7 of Final Fantasy VII. Did we do that last time, or is this 8?
I think this is 8.
8?
208.
Episode 8 of Final Fantasy VII. I'm going to be totally honest. I don't remember a lot of last week's recording.
Huh, I wonder why.
That's weird. I remember every single line.
I think it went really well from what I recall.
Someone on Facebook messaged me and was like, that joke you told was really funny, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's not very fair in general. You tell a lot of jokes over the course of a 2-hour podcast.
I had no idea. They said your Canada joke was really funny, and I was like, I don't remember talking about Canada.
Well, if it's any consolation, I don't remember you talking about Canada.
Well, you were drunker than I was.
I was not.
Anyway, so
what are we doing? Talking about
Final
games?
Fantasy VII, and you already said this is Chunker 8, where we are playing until we fly on a beautiful rocket into outer space.
You know what I haven't said in a while? We don't just play your favorite classic RPGs. Mm-hmm. We play them one chonker at a time.
Yeah.
I believe it's now called Choker.
Choker?
It's now called Chop Choker.
Choker. That's right. Gosh. Well, that's it for this episode of Square Roots.
Let's wrap it up and get out of here then. We have a Patreon. Thanks to the Tetrimino's. And I've been your host.
Ding, dong, sing
last
along.
week we announced what the next game
bong,
is, right?
Sing along. Your team's Al Gore because your views are wrong. John, I started teaching. I really appreciate how much you enjoy that little snippet that I shared with you. And I taught it to my son, but I taught him your team is Donald Trump because your views are wrong. He has been walking around the house saying it for 2 days. It's been fun. For everybody that's wondering, that's a bit from Community.
Yes.
The television show.
Yes.
Which is now on Netflix. Check it out.
We don't talk about that stuff here.
Bing,
this isn't a
bong,
TV show
sing-along.
podcast, guys.
Oh, boy.
Could be.
But, Jim, did you level up by watching any TV shows?
I did,
Jim,
actually.
Do you want to introduce that segment before you just dive right into it?
Yeah. So before we get into our Final Fantasies, we are going to discuss how we leveled up this past week. I'm going to go first because John already asked me. And you know what, John? I was really worried about what I was going to talk about until you asked me. And then I was like, oh, I did do something. I watched the entire season of a show called Tales from the Loop.
Wow, you watched the whole thing? You didn't mention it once.
I watched the whole thing. I know. It was okay. It's a science fiction show on Amazon Prime that is based on Simon Stalenhag. He does the retro futuristic art where it's like big mechs juxtaposed against empty fields and stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do know what you're talking about. He does some Star Wars stuff too, I think.
Yeah, it's a show that's based on his like artwork.
That's interesting.
And it's about a town in Ohio that sits above this super collider thing called the Loop, and all of these strange things happen to different people in the town, and that's kind of what each episode is about.
Is
different
it
happenings.
a anthology show?
It's like, I don't remember if it's 7 or 8 episodes. They're like interconnected tales.
I like those.
So an ancillary character from the first episode is the focus of the next one, and and like a character mentioned in that one is the focus of the next one.
So an interconnected
that kind of
anthology
thing.
series.
A bit like Erie, Indiana.
Yes, and it's really good. Like it's kind of like Black Mirror, but doesn't make you feel like shit after every episode.
Yeah,
Well, that's
what's
good.
with Black Mirror? I can't watch that show.
I know, it's so depressing. It's like a more like humanistic Black Mirror where it talks about and kind of comments on the technology stuff, but in kind of a hopeful way. Where there's an episode where a girl finds this little tube, and when she fixes it, and when she turns it on, she finds out she can kind of freeze time.
Ooh.
And so she uses it to spend she's a teenager, spend a lot of time with the boy that she's falling in love with.
Aw.
And so, like, it's a lot of stuff like that. I will say that it's kind of a slow burn series. It's a little too slow in a lot of places. Like, there were like a few episodes where a scene would get really boring. I feel like I'd look at my phone forever, and I'd look up and the scene was still going on. It's like, man, just move on. But, it's good. I'd give it, 7 out of 10.
Do you ever felt like poop? Strange things happen when you're living near the loop.
Plus, Rebecca Hall is in it, and she is a good-looking lady. I like Rebecca Hall.
Can we not gloss over how amazing John's song was just now?
I thought that was from the show.
Yeah, it's the theme to Tales from the Loop.
But check it out. If you like to see science fiction shows about freezing time and people switching bodies and robots that live in the woods, and it's a good show.
I do like those things. What's it on?
It's on Amazon Prime.
All right.
Check it out. John, how did you level up?
I leveled up by playing far too many not simultaneously, but like sequentially 100-hour RPGs at once. Like I'd play a few hours of The Witcher, then play a few hours of Persona 5, The Witcher 3, and then I play a few hours of Final Fantasy 15. And I'll just give a couple little snippets from each of them. Like The Witcher 3 is good. I just don't like how dark and nihilistic the world is. Like, I think it's got some of the best sub-quest or like side quest writing. Like, every side quest is really interesting and has like interesting moments and different things you do. And it's not just getting 5 bear pelts. It's like, go do this contract, and this contract turns out to be a monster that's not bad, but then do you not kill it and not get the reward? And like, you have to do crazy things to find each of these contract monsters. And it's always a little different. And like, you can tell they put tons of time into every quest. And then you go back and like play Final Fantasy 15, and it's like, go to this place, then go to this place, and then have the worst voice acted NPC be like, "Oh, yous boys are going out to the forest." I can't. I actually switched to Japanese voices for 15 because the voice acting for the main characters are fine, but it's the NPCs are so bad. Like, it's just kid cartoon actors. And
I think I called that game an instant classic, and I think that in retrospect, maybe I was just a little surprised that it was as good as it is, as opposed to the abomination that I expected it to be. When in reality, it's just kind of a bland,
it reminds you a lot of like the Assassin's Creed
poorly
games.
written JRPG or RPG. Action RPG?
But I was doing like a main story quest where I have to go like touch each of these poles to like get a little bit of flashbacks to like your childhood.
Yeah.
And then
he's going around touching poles.
I don't remember why I don't have the car, but I don't have the car, so I'm walking between them. I guess I should have brought up Chocobo. But
yeah, I think I remember that. They're all kind of around each other. You have to go to these like tombs or crypts or something.
They're not even crypts. They're just these like they look like trees. But then walking out of the second one, there was this giant robot, and I thought it was like a scripted encounter, so I started fighting that. But then there's also spiders, and then there was also like mech warrior attack dudes, and I realized it wasn't a scripted encounter. It was like 4 encounters all went at the same time, and all my guys were just dying over and over again. Like, it was so bad. And
that's what I remember more than anything about 15 is being like, oh, I have to stop and use a Phoenix down on fucking Prompto again.
Yeah, why is it always Prompto?
Because he's got low HP, I guess, or low defense.
But he's adorable.
He'd be less adorable if he didn't make you want to tear your fucking eyes out.
I also finished the Bloody Baron questline, and because I saved some orphans, this is in The Witcher 3, the Bloody Baron hung himself. I'm okay with that.
The classic side quest that made me quit playing The Witcher 3.
At least he's dead. I am 100% fine with the way it ended. But it did have one of those moments that's happened mostly in BioWare games where you have to watch someone sing for 5 minutes. Oh. Don't make me do this game. Don't make me watch someone sing.
What was the song from Bard's Tale? Locky Tugglebug? Come on.
What
was the song from Bard's Tale? You all know it.
Started out as a rumor, then suddenly grew. A fearsome beast we know was slew.
Oh, the Nuckavee.
It's the tale of the Nucklavee.
Nucklavee.
Who released it on the grass? Nucklavee. He must have been a pompous ass. Nucklavee.
I mean, you gotta admit, like, my foot is tapping. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's probably the least bad having to watch. No.
Game we've played? I agree. For the show. Precisely.
Least bad
game we've played for the show. Quote, John Brandon.
Also, there was, I had a little bit of extra money in my PayPal account because I had paid myself back for buying a game a couple of months ago. That was in there for the show. And so I bought Resident Evil Remake 2.
Nice. I've thought about buying that. It's on sale, right?
Yeah, it's on sale for like $20 US or so. 20,
Excuse me, I have a question.
Hi. Yeah. I'll take Miss...
Yes, thank you, Vanessa, Square Roots Podcast. When you say Resident Evil Remake 2, do you mean the second remake of the first Resident Evil, or do you mean the first remake of the second Resident Evil? I'll take my answer off the air.
All right, thank you, Miss. The answer is the first remake of the second Resident Evil. And it's a lot harder than the first Resident Evil 2.
John, I don't know if you're into watching this kind of thing. Maybe you should have said that after. But the streamer that I plugged a couple weeks ago, Carcinogen SDA, his thing is doing no damage runs of really basically Resident Evil and Silent Hill games.
Yeah.
And he did a bunch of runs of this Resident Evil 2 remake that are really fun to watch. So it might take some of the scares out of it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm sure the plot's not going... Like, I don't mind if Resident Evil 2's plot is spoiled for me.
Oh, you never played it?
No, because I finished the original one as Claire A, Leon B.
Can we acknowledge that this game is coming... Speaking of remakes,
can
we acknowledge that this game is coming out on the day before the Final Fantasy VII remake? And
no, that's a Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, that's 3.
Remake.
Coming out.
That's the 3 remake.
I'm playing 2 remake.
What are you talking about?
They remade Resident Evil 2, and then they just recently released a remake of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
This episode is coming out the day before the Final Fantasy VII remake comes out. Oh, the
episode. I thought you were talking about the game.
This episode is being recorded 2 days before that game comes out.
Thank you for correcting me by 1 day, Jim. It's very important. It's being released 3 days after, which is what I was trying to get to before you two started talking about Resident Evil 3. And I am quivering with anticipation. Also,
Ew, gross.
Just anytime I move, I quiver. It's all fat. You know,
I'm not a huge fan of stagger mechanics in my role playing games, but I'm going to give it a shot because I've heard such good things about the remake that I'm genuinely interested in trying it.
I did not find that I had to pay a lot of attention to stagger mechanics while I was playing the demo. Because I did a lot of
They seem like they're
hitting.
pretty important, though. You don't have to pay attention to them, but it seems like they're pretty important.
Seems like they're pretty important in a lot of games these days, and it kind of annoys me. Like, can I just hit the thing?
No,
I just
you
want to
gotta
hit the
use
thing.
your crystallium to wear down the stegometer until you can then use your light plinth.
We are talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake, not Final Fantasy 13, John.
Oh, right. Right. And then switch your Gestalt mode to
Get near.
It's weird that I'm going to finish Final Fantasy VII like a few days, like while I start to play Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
That's weird. Right?
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't mind because they're not erasing the old Final Fantasy VII. I don't mind them like making changes to the plot. And apparently they make a lot of changes to the plot, and I'm kind of interested to see where they go with it.
Yeah, one review said that the end is not what people expect and that it's going to be a big deal. Me personally, I think that means that it's going to end with this is not a spoiler or this is just a bit.
Let's just not.
John, it's just a bit. Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
This one is going to end, I think, with Cloud opening the door with the Keyblade and then finding out that Kingdom Hearts is light, and that's how it's going to tie in.
Oh, okay.
To the greater universe.
That was a bit.
Yes. Like you thought I was going to have an actual spoiler.
Okay, because I was about to say, let me just turn my chair around. Hey, highly reviewed game podcasters, people who like to podcast about games that have lots of listeners. I know you've played through the Final Fantasy VII Remake before it's out, but maybe let's not go into spoilers about it, you fucking assholes.
Obnoxious. It's so obnoxious. It's not just Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's all of them. Hey, every gaming podcast, stop being a bunch of fucking assholes about things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the minute someone plays a game, they just don't care anymore.
Just me next time. I'm right here. Subtweeting me on my own podcast.
Yeah, just stop listening to podcasts.
I think I have to stop listening to some podcasts because they're like, well, this thing in Final Fantasy VII, I mean, it's only a few hours in, so it's basically not even a spoil. Fuck you.
Oh, John is never cursy.
I think I'm a little grouchy.
I'm on board with John's complaints here.
Yeah.
I agree. I listen to several video game podcasts, and with people that I like and respect, and I very often am like, well, I guess that I'll just not listen to the rest of this 2-hour episode 10 minutes in because I don't want to risk it.
I think we might be talking about the same podcast episode.
We're definitely not, because I have not listened to podcasts in a month.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nope, that's just what they all do every time a big game comes out. And that's why I'm with you.
Yeah. Anyway, learn how to talk about games without spoiling them. Anyways, let's go talk about Final Fantasy VII and then spoil it. No, wait. Yeah. There's still Matthew and Vanessa. So let's go.
And Vanessa.
That's what I said. I said Matthew and Vanessa. So let's go, Matthew. How did you level up?
I leveled up by purchasing a game that is on sale in the PlayStation Store. That game is Soul Calibur 6. I guess you could say that I leveled up my fighting game skills. I have not played a Soul Calibur game in several years. Probably 1 and 2 were the ones that I really sunk my time into. Don't know much about what came after. Anyway, shockingly good is my review of Soul Calibur 6. And I wanted to offer a question to the table. Who likes Soul Calibur? Raise your hands, please.
I have only played a Soul Calibur in a video game arcade.
Ooh.
I'm the same way, I think.
Weird.
I love Soul Calibur, although 5 was poo.
Why was 5... we have talked about this outside of the show, but let's talk about it here. Why is 5 poo? I didn't play it.
Because it got rid of a lot of your favorite characters and then added new characters that were all Sophatia clones.
Yeah.
Like it added 15 new Sophatias.
There were already 2 in the original. Did we need more?
No.
Lizard Man was a Sophatia clone. You don't need...
There's, cause
Sophapia?
I think in
Sophita.
4, there's Sophatia, there's Lizard Man. Sophatia's kid was already a character in 4. And so there's already 3. And then they added like 6 more or something. It was horrendous.
Well, you would be maybe happy to know that this game is a reboot, kind of.
How many Sophatias are in it?
It is. There are a couple. There's always been a couple. It is, from what I understand of the plot, which, let's be honest, fighting game plot's not easy to follow. It is Soul Calibur 1, the events of Soul Calibur 1, and there seem to be time-traveling anime boys getting involved.
Ooh.
So I think that it's
Chrono?
kind of a reboot in that it's about...
It's Chrono.
Chrono. It's about time-traveling anime boys fucking with the events of the original Soul Calibur. So it's all the characters from the original Soul Calibur, plus some anime boys that I really fucking hate.
Speaking of, why aren't there any Chrono Trigger characters in Smash?
That's a Square game, not a Nintendo game. It's on the SNES.
But it was on Nintendo.
That doesn't mean they own it.
That's true. Which character would you like to put in Smash most of all?
I mean, Chrono.
Jim? Not
Or Frog.
You, Jim.
I would say Luca or Robo.
Psst.
Ooh.
Luca would be pretty sweet, and she could like summon Robo. Would make sense.
Yeah, she could shoot her gun. Would be cool.
There's certainly enough anime boys in Smash that we don't really need Chrono.
So, my Soul Calibur 6 question is, does it have Li Long or does it have Maxi?
It certainly has Maxi. I don't believe it has Li Long. Who is Li Long?
He is from, remember Soul Blade / Soul Edge? The PS1 one?
Never played that one.
It was the first Soul game, but then they renamed it Soul Blade because the whole Edge trademark thing, which go Google that sometime. It's insane. And then, they, instead of making Soul Blade or Edge 2, they made a new game because of the whole copyright stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that there was a first game with a weird name. That's kind of a common thing in games, isn't it? I mean, Demon Souls.
Okay. Another one.
What other? What's that SNES action RPG that sequels is like Soul Blazer?
ActRaiser?
Sequel is Terranigma.
And Heroes Quest became Quest for Glory after another copyright thing. So there's 3. There you go.
So anyway, I guess at this point I'll kind of keep it shorter, but Soul Calibur 6, it's really good. It's got a really deep character creator with a ton of options. And I had some fun, playing around with that with my kids. We made a character named Vonner. Van and Connor. Anyway, yeah, it's dumb. And, Connor and I played it for literally about 3 hours last night. Like, I finally got off of work and clocked out and we went and sat down and, there's not much to do with Verona. So, we literally sat there and just played it for several hours back and forth until we finally beat it and we yelled at the anime boys. It's got all your classic characters.
Who's your favorite? Who are your favorite Soul Calibur peoples?
I do love Sophita. I think she's great to play as.
That's not a character, but sure.
Sophita.
Nope.
Okay. And I do love Nightmare / Siegfried. I love the guys with the great gigantic swords. They're easy to control the field and stuff. They're easier to play.
Yeah.
And I always liked Cervantes. Double Sword Pirate is really good. The new game has The Witcher, Geralt? Is it Geralt?
Gerald.
Someone calls him Gerald in the quest I just did.
Nice.
Hey, Gary.
And he's super good, super easy to play as. I don't have the season passes, so I haven't played as 2B or any of the other ones. But it's got a lot of your favorite, your returning characters. It's got I'm sorry, I don't know all the names, but it's got the staff-wielding guy. It's got the spear-wielding lady. It's got Maxi with its nunchucks. It's got Keelik. Yes, thank you. It's got all of the original characters except for Lizard Man is not in it for some reason, which really annoys me. I really liked Lizard Man. He was one of my faves in the original because he played like Sophia, but he hit harder.
Sophia.
And, anyway, if anybody's interested, you should check it out. I'm playing it. I'm at that point, new game point where like I'm sneaking away for 30 minutes to like play some video game, to play a round of Soul Calibur. So it's fun.
But if I actually purchase it, will you actually play it with me?
Yeah, probably. I mean, you've got a small window for this. It's probably about a month long, but after that, I make no promises.
Hold on. Let's be clear. You've got, what is today? Wednesday? You got 2 days until the Final Fantasy VII remake comes out.
Connor's going to come back. The kids are going to come back, and I probably won't get to play much Final Fantasy this weekend. Because honestly, with the kids, I've been doing a lot of video games, guys. It's a good way to keep everybody entertained.
My favorite characters are Sungmina and Rock with his big bear titties.
Which one is Rock?
He's like the caveman.
I don't know that he's in this. Sungmina is the spear wielder, right?
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, she's really good. I mean, a lot of those characters that's what's fun about Soul Calibur is that it's not the characters so much as it's kind of the weapons and how it feels when they play. And, I mean, they're all pretty fun. I mean, I could play some Astaroth and I could play some...
I don't love it. I think Astaroth and, what's his name? Hagrid? I can't remember his name. He's like
Nightmare's
there's another Astrid or something. He was one of the ones that I think, Todd McFarlane designed, but they kept around. Necrid. Is it Necrid? Yeah.
Astaroth is from the first game. I don't think that one has anything to do with McFarlane.
Okay. Excuse me, who is the one who is like a woman, but she sort of has Catholic imagery, like a sort of paladin kind of lady? She's blonde. Who that?
Sophia?
She's got more of a Greek thing going on for sure.
She's blonde with a Greeky thing.
I think she's Hephaestus' daughter or blessed by Hephaestus. That's her.
Oh, maybe
gimmick.
Helga? Or isn't there like a Helga or something?
There's a red-haired...
This is how I leveled up. I have been
I was about to ask you.
Yeah, the way I leveled up is I bought a whole bunch of turnips, right? And I had them sitting around, but then I couldn't find in my own area a good way to sell them. So I did some creeping, and I crept on the internet to another way more popular podcast host than I, who was asking people if they had good prices to sell their turnips at. And I did just piggyback right onto him. And when someone said they had good prices, I was like, hey, how about I come too? So I did go to the island to sell my turnips. The popular podcaster was not there, but his brother was, but not his other brother. And if you can follow those clues to learn what popular podcast I'm talking about, I won't be very impressed. It's really easy to guess. Anyway,
I have two brothers.
It was you. I sold it was also Jim. It was both of you.
I don't. So was it also me?
It was not Matthew Van Zandt. I did sell them for over 1 million bells, with which I bought myself a basement. And now I have a basement. Also,
whoa, congratulations.
John, to tell me how he felt about me, sent me a statue of a man-faced stink bug.
Jesus.
And that's how I leveled up.
Well, how do you feel about that? Because you know that it takes work to get those statues, right?
That's the thing. It's like I made those trash bags that I sent to you, the bags of literal trash.
That you said reminded you of me.
I said that they reminded me of your game playing skills, not of you entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what you did take a lot more effort and sacrifice. So it made me feel good that you put that much energy into it, but it made me feel sad that it was a man-faced stink bug.
You put a statue that I had to order specially from Flick by collecting 3 of the same insects.
It's true. It's true.
It had to be man-faced stink bugs.
Yeah. I put it in my field of flowers, and my hope is that when someone comes to visit me, they will be heckin' tricked, and they'll be like, "Oh, there's a real man-faced stink bug that I'm gonna get," but it will be a statue. It will be hilarious.
I'm glad you like
talking
it.
about tricking men into her field of flowers.
Because nothing else has worked, Matt.
You should try Jim's negging approach.
Yeah. Tell them that their family hates them and only you love them.
That's not how negging works,
That
Jim.
was the pickup line I used for John.
Oh yeah, why don't you talk about that? Because I think that game was great.
Yeah. We played a game called Monster Date with the four of us and a few other friends. I think Stan was in there, and my friend Julie. And in Monster Date, you have to text the other players. You can only text up to 4 times per turn, and you essentially try to get them to date you. Jim is a master at this. He told me that he likes my nose, so that was a great come on. What did Jim tell you guys?
I think Matthew offered an alliance, and I told him to go fuck himself. John, I messaged John and said that his family hates him and only I love him.
And then it was revealed that he was my mother. And so it gave him points every time I didn't go on a date that day. But then he's like, since I'm your mother, come suckle on mommy's teeth.
Yeah.
I told Stan I would only date him if he has money.
So Jim was real good at that. I think Matt won, though, didn't you, Matt?
No, I didn't win
I think
that
he
one.
did.
I won the trivia games. I was in 5th place for that one. I think. I don't know who won.
John, I thought of a really good one to use on you next time.
Ooh, what's that?
It says, this is really bad.
Okay.
Say, is your name Amy? Because now I know where I want to Amy my.
Oh my god!
Damn it, Jim! No, you should not be allowed on dating sites.
Bleep that out. Bleep that out.
I'm just bleeping out.
I've never
I'm bleeping out
actually
the word.
said that to somebody.
So friends, keep an eye on our Twitter because we are trying to do some more streaming on the Twitch because we're stuck at home these days. So I imagine we'll play that dating game again and you can see the fun for yourself.
Stay tuned.
None of you stream from the Square Roots account, though.
We don't.
I'm trying to build my own audience and make people smash that like and subscribe.
And leave us behind, you say? Like we should leave this segment behind?
Listen, we all need to nurture our individual brands just as much as the podcast brand.
Do we?
Gross.
Yeah. It's like how each Avenger has their own movie, and then when they come together, it's like, whoa.
Exactly.
That's what somebody in a band says when somebody's offering them a solo gig on the side. I don't trust either of you now.
No. This is
This is about to be the John and Matt show.
We all are individually successful when we're together. It's like we're a super group.
Well, then I think it's time for the quest log.
Mm-hmm. The Materia Manifest. That's what I'm calling
Materia Manifesto?
Yeah, my manifesto. So we are opening this episode. So let's see, where do we leave off? So Cloud.
This is where Jim reveals that he's a QAnon subscriber.
Oh no!
We left Cloud in the.
I know.
We left Cloud in the crater, right?
I'll leave you in the crater.
Yeah, we just flew out and then ended with Tifa chasing after Cloud in blackness.
Oh, right. And so Tifa wakes up, and we're in an empty room off of the airport in Junin Harbor. Mm-hmm. Barrett is there, says she's been asleep for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like a week?
Mm-hmm.
5 days or something like that. And she wakes up. This I think is the most cinematic little cutscene of the game, where the camera kind of moves around the room to behind Barrett to show him opening the shades out onto the airport like tarmac.
Yeah.
And you see meteor in the sky, which looks super ominous. This is a really good little cutscene.
And this is the like Final Fantasy VI moment of everything's changed. Everyone, all NPC dialogue has changed because something real bad is happening.
Yeah.
This is we are approaching or are in Act 3.
Disc 3, please.
Disc 3, thank
We
you.
aren't in Disc 3 yet.
Not Disc 3 yet. And I also like, this part made me laugh because Tifa asks how you got here, and Barrett's like, oh, we were rescued by Shinra. And he's like, Rufus Shinra, he's a real asshole, but he did us a solid. And then right after that, Rufus is like, well, I'm going to execute you on national television.
Rufus.
But he does have, I mean, he has his reasons. He's like, well, we can't have people blaming the Shinra for the fact that the world's about to end. And we can't have people rioting. So to like quell the populace, we're going to blame you for everything and execute you.
Mm-hmm. Sort of like we're blaming the Chinese.
Wow. Wow, Vanessa. Come on.
Topical.
I like how we were just kind of silent, like,
So, you then cut, like, Barrett is sort of led around in handcuffs to the TV studio, where he is sat down with, a very suspicious looking guy in a big trench coat.
Yeah, it's like the Muppet Man from the Muppets.
And I think some kind of hat or something. And then Scarlet hosts America's Next Dead Avalanche member.
Yeah, she's into it. She's like, hello, world. We've whittled it down to our final 5.
Have you noticed that Scarlet has always been dressing for the job she wants, not the job she had? Where she was just kind of like middle management lady, but she was dressing like the host of a reality show, like real ball gowns all the time.
Well, like is she like Shinra PR? Is that what she does?
Maybe she is on camera a lot. What do you think, Vanessa?
She's like the Dana Bash. Do you guys know who Dana Bash is?
Of course.
No. So the TV show gets started. Scarlet is all, this is amazing. Everyone is going to see this, these terrorists get their due, and we are gonna start with Tifa, who she seems to have a grudge against. I'm not sure why. She really does not like Tifa. And you can tell because as she's like locking her down in the gas chamber chair, she slaps Tifa, right? In that
she does. Yeah. She gives her a good one. This is what I like to call, and this is a what do you call it? Like an academic term. Mm-hmm. It's called a cat fight.
No, this part isn't. This is what I would call a prelude to a cat fight.
Oh, yeah. Foreplay.
It's more of a
cat fight. Foreplay.
It's more of a slap fight than a cat fight.
Yeah, you know what? I have a lot to say about the slap fight, but she like gives Tifa a good one, like right across her cheek, for talking back when she's getting in the gas chair.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that went on national TV? Is that why she's so upset?
Oh man, maybe. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe.
And it looks like she starts pressing the button, and it looks like Tifa is toast.
The gas does not get Tifa very quickly, but as it happens, a lot happens in the press room.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't remember what happens first. Does Kate Sith take down? Oh no, weapon attacks, right?
Yeah, the first thing is...
So there's a big fat weapon attack, which like you learn from, I think, either Rufus or one of the soldiers says that weapon has been attacking regularly and everybody's kind of on alert. But there's one that happens right as this execution broadcast is starting.
What is weapon?
Oh,
Mecha Godzilla.
Did we talk about this last time? I don't
it was
remember.
Mecha Godzilla with like the big laser beam that was shooting at the ship, and that's when Tifa and her breasts were under attack.
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh, right.
So
I just wanted a reminder.
Weapon was there was a gassed video about Weapon where it was created as like a like an antibody of the planet to resist the attack that was happening by Genova. So the planet created Weapon, and now Weapon is going crazy.
Yeah, Weapon is like an antivirus for the planet.
Except the virus also includes Genova and humanity.
Right.
So it's like the plant stuff in The Happening. It's sort of like that, but instead of the wind, it's like a big Mecha Godzilla, which probably would have made The Happening a bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, doesn't the new Godzilla movies make Godzilla to be that?
I think even the old Godzilla movies made Godzilla to be that because it was like in response to nuclear testing.
I love that in the most recent Godzilla movie, they make the poop of the big Godzilla monsters to be like beneficial for the planet.
I like in Cloverfield that they made, Slusho, that thing that's in all the J.J. Abrams properties.
All those Cloverfield movies.
And it's all Slusho's also in Lost and Alias and Felicity. And the secret ingredient of Slusho in one of the expanded universe like websites that came along as viral marketing for Cloverfield explains that one of the secret ingredients in the special flavor of Slusho is harvested from the seafloor and maybe like eggs for those monsters.
I do remember that. That's from the Tagruato website.
Exactly.
I did. I went way into that like Cloverfield backstory viral marketing thing when it was popular.
That is why the girl who was drinking the Slusho was the one who exploded with the baby spiders.
Oh, because she drank the Tagruato stuff.
Yeah, so she was already like half fertilized.
When I was like, I don't remember when that movie came out, but I was a teenager and I was like, I'm going to fucking figure this out. Mm-hmm. I'm a teenager with nothing to do, a lot of time on my hands and an internet connection. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And it never made any sense.
Anyway, so Vanessa, does that answer your question?
Absolutely. Taldragago, slushy, has eggs in it, and if you drink them, Felicity will explode.
Yep. I don't want Hurley or Alias drinking that stuff. I don't want them to explode. I love them.
I took a personality quiz that's going around the internets, and it says it will tell you which fictional characters you're most like. Mm-hmm. Hurley was on my top 20 list, but number one every time was Chandler Bing.
It wasn't.
That was mine too.
No way.
It was.
We're
Chandler Bing was top, and embarrassingly, because I think he's an asshole, Jim Halpert was second.
Oh. We're Chandlers. Yeah. We're Chandlers.
But aren't you
Chandlers,
this podcast's Jim Halpert?
Me or Vanessa?
You.
No.
Yeah.
He's Jim Banks.
He's this podcast's Jim Halpert. Vanessa is this podcast's
she's the Angela.
No. What? No, that's horrible.
I'm just kidding.
She's not the Angela. Who's like a likable lady? She's that podcast's Karen.
Oh, Karen,
You're calling me a Karen? I read on Twitter that that's a slur.
It is a slur. Put that out, John.
Karen, first of all, Karen is Rashida Jones, who is one of my favorite people ever.
Ooh.
She's great.
As is Vanessa.
Karen Filippelli is her character's name.
Yeah, she's Italian. When Jim makes her talk in an Italian accent. Oh, anyway, The Office is great.
Hey, guys, look at my cup. Can you see what's on my cup?
Oh, God. Jim, no. Oh, gross.
It's VII.
Oh.
Adorable.
I love VII. So, back to weapon attack. And then we get like a mix of... So you're getting cutscenes of the attack outside. This is real like classic anime... anime / what's the kaiju film style? where the things are coming and they're like preparing the Junon cannon to defend against it.
Yeah.
And then like everyone's getting ready. There's lots of like, oh, it's coming. Will we be able to hit it? It's going to be a direct hit.
I thought this was super cool because all the big high-rise apartments that you ran past before have a big like wall come up in front of them, and then all these different turrets come out and start shooting at the weapon. This was really cool.
Yeah, this is a lot like what's that mech series, like the super detailed ones?
Gundam.
Yeah, Gundam. Yeah.
Gundam.
Yeah, Gundam. It was very Gundam-y, and I think it's really rad.
It was cool.
Meanwhile, inside, Ketchi turns out to be the Muppet wearing a trench coat. The Muppet Man wearing a trench coat. And then there's a little mini game where Tifa has to use her arms and legs to get a key up before the gas gasses her. I don't think there's a way to lose that one. I think you got to.
I don't think so either. I think the controls adjust around what you're doing, don't they?
Yeah, this is probably one of the better little mini games that they have, I would say, because it makes sense. It's not annoying.
Yeah, it's nothing like the slap fight.
No. And you can't fail it.
Yeah, you can't fail it.
So Tifa gets the key, which I guess Scarlet left on the floor accidentally.
Yeah, like falls out of her pocket.
Yeah, during the slap. Barrett and Ketchi run to the airport to go grab the High Wind after Tifa. No, Tifa doesn't meet them yet. Then they run into a reporter on the ground who wants to talk to them about what's going on. And like, so what do you think about this attack that's going on right now as like soldiers are all lined up shooting rocket launchers after the first cannon attack didn't work against the weapon? And this reporter turns out to be Yuffie. And
Yeah, she's like, it's me, dummies.
And it looked like Yuffie with a slightly different outfit. So I was not convinced.
Oh.
I knew right away who it was. Meanwhile, Tifa gets out of the room, starts running around, and then ends up being basically railroaded into running onto the cannon. Scarlet is after her, and there's plenty of soldiers. She doesn't have any. Well, she doesn't need weapons because she is basically registered as a lethal weapon.
Yeah.
And
she's a real Bruce Lee.
She starts getting pushed to the end of the cannon, and then Scarlet catches up to her, and they get into, even though she is registered as a lethal weapon and is a highly trained martial artist, they get into a slap fight. You have the option to jam on that slap button. Vanessa, how, as the only woman on this podcast,
Yes.
how do you feel about this depiction of interwoman aggression?
When I was a young girl at summer camp, there was another girl there who did not like me because she thought I was weird. She was chasing me in a menacing way, so I did run most of the way up a hill, and then I turned around and looked at her, and it was a very steep hill. This was in Washington State, and it would be probably considered a foothill in some places. And she was downhill. I had the high ground, and she slapped me across the face. And I just looked at her, and I was like, if I shoved you right now, you would go tumbling down this hill and be really hurt. So I did not slap her back. It was the only time I have been slapped in the face. It made me very sad because I was like, where did this kid learn this behavior from? This is not healthy. Also, I was sad because I got slapped.
Young Vanessa psychoanalyzing her classmates is the most on point thing I've ever heard. So on brand.
And if you're wondering if Jim, Matthew, or John have been slapped, yes. Moving on.
Yes to all three.
Yes. Of course we have. Okay.
It's very presumptuous of you.
Am I wrong?
No.
So, Jim, you said this is one of your favorite things that you wanted to talk about this episode.
Yeah, Tifa's like a fighter. She's like she knows martial arts. She
Yeah.
was trained by Zangan. Why is she slapping this lady? She should kick her in the head.
Yeah, she really should. This isn't like some nobody. She's like, this lady shot off Barrett's arms. She's killed hundreds or thousands of people. She smushed Sector 7. Like, come on, just knock her off. You could do this. I failed this mini game because, I don't know, I hit the wrong button or something. I don't even know. I wasn't I was trying to take screenshots instead of play it. That's what I did wrong because it's amazing. So then a voice tells Tifa to run off the edge of the cannon, to jump onto the high wind, which, meanwhile Barrett and, Ketchi have run onto with Yuffie.
We did it.
Yeah.
We escaped execution.
So there's a cutscene of her jumping onto the high wind, and Sid like talks to his crew there. They're all about rebelling against Rufus because they don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all about that base.
Yeah.
No trouble.
No trouble. No trouble.
They're all about the base because the high wind becomes your base for the rest of the game.
Hey.
You know how people say...
It's a homophone.
You know how people say Final Fantasy VII, like, the first part of the game is the part you remember and the part that's really awesome? I totally forgot that the rest of the game is this good. Like, this is amazing. I'm having such a good time.
Pretty good. I feel like it's a bit like, if you're not following along, if you're not using guides, it's a bit hard to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot more time wandering around and being like, what the fuck, that you're missing out on playing it in modern times.
Yeah. I guess cause I'm using guides and finding all the secret cutscenes and stuff. So.
We're not being one of those like Prima guide guys, which, get out of here.
Yeah. They talk, if you go to Bone Zone now, they let you know about someone that they found and brought to Medeal. Is that where you get the clue to go to Medeal? I think it's Bone Zone.
No. Well, you could be right.
I don't remember.
That's not how I remember it, but.
I know there's a million different ways to get to Medeal, or just like because you now have an airship and it's a new town that you've unlocked, and it happens to be a town.
I just went there because it's the only town that we couldn't get to before, and I'm like, oh, this must be it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at me solving problems.
Just played a lot of RPGs, okay?
In Medeal,
look at me.
So Medeal's like a spring town that like has healing springs.
Hot spring town.
Yeah, it's a hot spring town that old people live in, and there's also a little clinic there. And someone
like your mom
says, "Hey, we found you start
like you."
Walking around, and someone keeps saying, or you hear people say, you're playing as Tifa now. Oh yeah, we found that guy and his eyes are so blue. And Tifa's like, it's gotta be Cloud, right, Barrett? That's gotta be Cloud. Barrett's like, well, you don't, no, it's got to be Cloud. And you go to the clinic and talk to the doctor about this mysterious person who you can see like on the other side of the divider in the shot is definitely Cloud. And the doctor's like, oh, you mean that's your friend? Well, I mean, he's doing well. You know, you don't need to worry. He's just had severe Mako poisoning and his brain is melted.
Yeah, and he's in a wheelchair now because he's a vegetable.
Yeah. And
well, we're going to saute that vegetable up real quick.
Matt took a screenshot of Tifa crying on the lap of Cloud in the wheelchair. Well,
forgot about that.
Cloud's head bobs back and forth, and there's the weirdest sound effect. It's like,
yeah, there's a weird creaking sound. I didn't know if that was supposed to be his wheelchair
or her jaw.
Oh, God. She's mourning the mental loss of her friend.
Glowing.
No, she is not.
Prove it.
I can't.
She's laying her little head in his lap.
Mm-hmm. Not filleting him.
Now, when you lay your head in your lap, John and Vanessa, do you lay your head down
in my own
like
lap?
Nose first against the lap that you're laying in? Or do you lay your head down cheek first? depends on the situation, doesn't it, John?
No, because sometimes it's kind of comfy on a nice thigh to like, go like, like I've had a bad day. I just want to go like,
just be like, I'm gonna like nuzzle my nose right in there.
Yeah, sometimes I do that. I don't know. So Tifa says she'll stay with Cloud and everyone else needs to go because they've heard rumors, I guess, when they have to go see what Shinra's doing, basically.
And they elect a new leader.
Yeah, and it's Barrett for about 5 minutes. It's
Barrett for about a tenth of a second.
Yep, he's like, I don't like this. I don't want to do it. Don't make me be leader.
Yeah, he's like, I'm bad at this, which, you know what? He is.
Mm-hmm.
Who is most used to bossing people around, isn't a spy, and hasn't stolen all the materia from the party, and isn't a dog.
Vincent.
Sid Highwind.
Yes, unfortunately, Sid Highwind. I don't want to be playing as Sid, but sometimes you gotta. And
He's a terrible boss.
He is the worst boss that we've seen so far, judging from his previous treatment of employees / maybe lovers. So, at this point, you learn that Shinra...
Hang on, is Jim having a party again? Is this what Jim does during a podcast? Like, is this how he gets women? Is he like, why don't you come over while I record my podcast?
Oh, yeah. I'm a big-time radio DJ.
I gotta finish my show, baby.
Yeah, he'll just be like, I'm spinning a disc right now so I can step away.
You learn that Shinra is collecting all the huge materia to pack into a big rocket to shoot at Meteor.
The Vanessa?
Yes. The big, huge, strong, girthy, weighty, thick, turgid materia.
Mm-hmm.
Turgid?
And I guess you're learning this from Ketshi, right? Ketshi's like giving you the inside scoop.
Yeah, I think Ketshi's like, oh, I'm listening in at Shinra.
Yeah. And so they're like, so there are 4 pieces. The first 3 are in Coral. 1 is in Junon, being loaded onto a submarine. And 1 of them is at Fort Condor. So the first one we have to go after is the one at Coral, which is, I think a fun little I like how short all these little sections are. Like none of them overstay their welcome. Coral is maybe 10 minutes. You go back to North Coral, where the ruined town is, and then you have to make your way towards the reactor. There's some guards there. They're easy to take out. And but unfortunately you don't get there quite in time, and a train carrying the huge materia leaves. But fortunately, there's another train inside this reactor, and I like how the trains seem to be far bigger than the reactor itself. So Sid decides to commandeer one of these trains. He doesn't exactly know how they work.
Yeah, but he's just like, if I can fly a rocket, I can drive a train. He's never actually flown a rocket.
This thing has a 10-minute time limit, and if you don't know what's going on and aren't paying much attention, you can definitely fail.
And playing on ×3.
Yeah.
Did you?
Because it's just a series of like 6 fights.
Yeah.
And
then the weirdest mini game thing.
So I definitely crashed the train into Coral.
Oh no!
I put that in the notes. I said talk about how Matthew failed this.
Yes, Jim. That's why I'm talking about it, Jim.
But this is, to be honest, it's not a very intuitive little mini game for like how to alternate these levers.
Well, let's just talk about so you run over like the back cars of the trains and then jump to a different first you have to like catch up by mashing on.
Start off by jumping that caboose.
You're like hitting the buttons to catch up your train to this other train, and then you have to jump on the other one, make your way from the caboose to the engine, and then you choose to fight the engineers. Huh? I'm using Jim's joke from the notes.
That was a good joke. He did steal it from The Simpsons, but that's okay.
Oh.
I did. That's
Sure
why I
stole
put
it
it
from
in
the chat
parentheses.
when I made the joke when I played this.
So
You son of a bitch.
would you call this a mini game? It gives you like incomprehensible instructions on
Is
how
there a time limit?
how
And you have to
to
do special
stop
button
the
Are
trains.
presses.
incomprehensible instructions.
So it's like you want to press them in conjunction or something. It was some weird way of explaining that you need to hit either slow down or speed up at the same. No, I think speed up but there's 2 speed up buttons. You need to hit them both at the same time.
Yeah, so you have to hit like 2 buttons to do one and 2 buttons to do the other, right?
I mashed. Well, I didn't mash it, but I wasn't sure if I was doing it right or wrong. I thought I
Yeah,
had
me too.
crashed, but then I got the Ultima, and then was like, "Thanks for saving our town."
Yeah, I mean,
What
there's a
happens,
cutscene.
Matthew, you would know because you're bad at this game. What happens if you crash the train into Corel?
I mean, they just hate you. They're like, oh, you suck. Shinra sucks. This sucks.
If you want to get this Ultima material, you'll have to pay for it.
You wake up in that same inn that if you don't crash it, they're like, go sleep in the inn! And then everything's the same after that. Except for people talk to you like, our lives are fucking ruined. I went back and did it again because I wanted that Ultima materia.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that Ultima Materia is pretty amazing.
I've got it with Cloud and like my best all so that I can just blast motherfuckers.
That's a great materia if you're trying to limit grind.
Oh yeah?
Give it to the character that you're trying to gain the limits for when they do their like second stage limit on their level where you have to defeat a certain number of enemies. Just give that to them with an all materia and just let them go for however many turns.
I mean, I just did that with like with a fully leveled up fire. I actually did go and on Jim's advice, I went and did some limit grinding. Very rare for me to put this much effort into these games. But I got limits for Vincent, Sid, and Cloud. We've got final limits for all of them.
Lambits.
That's kind of my main team now.
Your favorite Lambits.
I will say Ultima is really useful in the battle square as well. Like if you end up rolling like a weapon broken or like armor broken, you can just keep spamming the Ultima magic as long as you can, and it will mostly in like 2 or 3 turns decimate anyone in the battle square.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what's good for that is if you're using that little cheat button and you just are doing your limit every time, so you're just doing Glim Hazard or Meteora every single turn. Makes the battle square pretty easy.
I think I'll do that next. Well, I won't cheat, but I'll use
You
Ultima.
should for grindy shit. That's what the cheating's for.
That's what they're cheating for.
I enjoy the grindy. I do ×3, which is an aid, and then I just kind of like listen to podcasts.
Don't. I've seen you streaming, and you haven't been doing it.
I do it
You
for
have
when
to
I'm
get,
grinding.
you have to earn like 32,000 battle points, which takes like 3 or 4 runs through the battle square. You know what? Do it however you want.
Thank
Have
you.
a bad time. I don't care.
I will.
Bang, bong, sing along, John. Your name was Donald Trump because your views are wrong.
So, there is, where were we? We saved the town. You got Ultima Materia. You got your first piece. If you do save the train, you get your first piece of big, large, huge materia. Of your very own, which isn't that big. I thought it would be bigger. I thought it'd be like the size of the Phoenix egg on the top of Fort. It's just like a slightly bigger materia.
Yeah, it's like
It
a
looks
rod
a lot
instead
bigger.
of a fucking ball.
It looks a lot bigger when like after you collect everything and take it to Cosmo Canyon and look at it
Next
in
episode?
the Cosmosphere
Next
thing.
episode.
Next episode.
So you're saying it's a
looks lot
grower,
bigger.
not a shower?
Yes.
You need to have the right hardware to render this huge material.
All right.
Hey, Vanessa, what island are you raising right now for its natural resources?
I am doing no such thing. Thank you very much, sir. I was reading a tweet about the great state in which I am in, directing liquor stores in partnership with some restaurants to do limited delivery or takeout of cocktails.
Oh, I see.
Of cocktails?
Cocktails?
Yeah, so like the other day we DoorDashed some Mexican food, but we couldn't get a margarita with it. And now it's like, hello, it's DoorDash, please bring me the Mexican food and also a margarita. You know?
There's a pizza place that I've been ordering from, like a local pizza place that I want to, support. And
it's just two guys and a girl
growlers. Yeah, just two guys and a girl running it. They make really good fucking pizza. And they do growlers of beer. And I haven't ordered one yet, but I kind of keep thinking about it like,
There are places here that are thriving because they are drive-through daiquiri places.
Hell yeah.
Where you can just roll through and order like a big, when you go to a gas station, order like an extra large like soda. Mm-hmm. You can get one of those filled with like daiquiri.
Yeah, I went to one of those in Louisiana once, and I had a sign up that said "Don't drink and drive," but also they were selling daiquiris at a drive-through.
Yep, that's right. And then you can also order food from Mexican places here, and a lot of places are giving you like gallon margaritas. So you can order margaritas by the gallon.
I see you're really taking these essential trips seriously out in Texas.
I haven't had to order anything like that recently because there's a liquor store that's an essential business like a minute away from where I live.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, meanwhile, in Fort Condor, if you haven't done one of these Fort Condor fights, you can now do a Fort Condor fight, and this is the big one, because if you win this, you're going to get some rad materia. I tried my best to do it, like, with the rules of the game and doing the stupid little tower defense game. I still lost the tower defense game, but then the only punishment is you have to fight a boss and you don't get, like, a shitty prize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did the same. In fact, I intentionally just let myself die because I was like, fuck this. I've never done it. It looks terrible. I'm not doing this. And the guide was like, you're just lose. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, and like at this point in the game, it's like barely a mini boss.
Yeah, it's
a baby boss.
It's real easy. So you fight the boss, everyone at Fort Condor, which is 4 people maybe, because there's the 2 people there's the old man, there's the leader, and then there's the 2 people in the item shop. They're real excited. They're happy. You get a great cutscene of the egg hatching and a giant, big, huge baby chocobo looking phoenix is born.
It's not a chocobo.
It's a chocobo.
It's a condor.
Phoenix.
It's like quack.
Yeah, it's adorable. It does look like a chocobo though.
It does.
It's like a big yellow bird.
I didn't realize that Fort Condor had an actual egg on top of it, but I guess that was supposed to be the reveal.
Yeah.
It was pretty dumb.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that.
That's what I thought the big, huge material was.
I didn't realize that Fort Condor had a fucking giant condor on top of it. Mm-hmm. I thought it was like a statue.
That's what you're supposed to be protecting, is the big bird and the egg. And so the egg...
Don't they tell you that immediately?
Yes, they do.
Well, I never went there. Never went there once. Just went by it several times.
They're like, that's why we need you to fight the Shinra, because there's a big phoenix protecting its baby on top of this thing, and they want to pillage it.
And
it's not a phoenix. All right, let's do this.
So the big phoenix condor is lets you have its precious materia, but the baby's still alive. The baby's fine. And then the old man, the one downstairs in Fort Condor, is like, oh, by the way, I totally have the big, large, huge materia. You can have it. We've been keeping it here the whole time. What a dick.
He tricked us.
Yeah, that guy's an asshole.
Mm-hmm. Pretty dumb.
But hey, we got... what is the benefit? I thought Phoenix materia was like an auto life materia or something, but it's not.
It's a fire materia, right?
Yeah, it's just a fire materia. But it's like a more powerful one than Ifrit.
It's just a summon. I don't even think I've used it, to be honest with you.
I have not. And at this point, it is time to go check on Tifa and Cloud over at the Medill Clinic.
Mm-hmm. Has she finished nuzzling his lap?
She's still there, still nuzzling his lap. He hasn't been doing any better. He's still like mumbling words to himself. His brain is totally gone bonkers because of, I guess all the revelations and swimming in the Lifestream.
No, he fell into the Lifestream, which seems to be like, basically like irradiated fucking whatever. So this planet has weird magic blood, unlike, our real human planet.
Excuse
just
me.
Has really melty rocks.
If you've seen The Spirits Within, turns out there is weird melty blood inside the planet
that's
as
right.
well.
Spirits Within takes place on Earth. I forgot. How dare I
No, it
forget
takes place
Final
on Gaia.
Fantasy VII's prequel.
Yeah, it's New York City in Gaia.
So, you go back there. Cloud really hasn't improved any, but they're starting to get rumblings and like, oh, we should probably get Cloud out of here because it seems like I guess because the hot springs are being cooked by the Lifestream, and that's why it's like a hot spring town.
Sure.
It's
I
like
think that's how he got there. He rode the Lifestream.
Yeah, he gets spit up. I think they tell you that this place is closer to the Lifestream than other places on the planet.
Right. And this is kind of a Dante's Peak scenario where instead of being cooked by the hot waters of the hot springs, the inhabitants are being cooked by the Lifestream. And so the one grandma's pushing the boat as her body dissolves. And then the kids are super happy because the dog survives and they don't even care that the grandmother has melted. That fucking
Dante's
Peak
Peak
is a bad movie.
Somebody has watched Dante's Peak way too many times, and so have I. So let's talk
John,
about it.
That's the Pierce Brosnan
Yeah.
movie.
Pierce Brosnan is so handsome.
Amazing. That
Dante's
is an
Peak is
amazing
better
90s
than
movie.
Volcano.
Yeah, Dante's Peak and Volcano are the Armageddon and Deep Impact of volcano movies.
It's shocking how often that happens.
I always associated in my mind Dante's Peak with Congo.
No.
Congo also has melty lava
Does
stuff.
it have a grandmother pushing a boat in an acidic
No,
lake?
but it has gorillas getting melted in lava.
But it came out the same year as Volcano, which is a movie about a volcano.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Volcano had better special effects, but Dante's Peak was marginally a better movie.
Dante's Peak had the star power.
Volcano
With
ends the one that ends
007 himself.
One had Tommy Lee Jones.
Volcano's got Tommy Lee Jones, but it's the one that, and like Elizabeth Shue, I think, but it's the one that ends with everybody's faces getting covered in ash and then realizing that race isn't a thing.
Well, because this was like it's real. And the kids
legit.
like, they all look the same. This is like 3
it's real
years
bad.
after the whole riots in LA.
I mean, come on, it's 90s neoliberalism.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's real bad.
The racist policies that we endorse when we vote for presidents don't really matter because we're all the same and I don't see color.
Exactly.
Thanks, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden is our candidate.
We're never going to get through this episode.
No.
Never.
I was thinking about movies that seem like they should be part of a series but aren't, and I came up with Pleasantville and The Truman Show.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, both really good movies.
Yeah.
Don't
I
they
love
seem like
those
they could be
movies.
like part of a film festival
But,
of some sort?
Pleasantville is part of I think he calls it his Once Upon a Time trilogy with Dave and a third movie that I never remember.
Oh.
I don't know what Dave is.
It's the same
or who you're talking
writer,
about.
director for those three. They all start with like
Oh,
Once
that's
Upon a
interesting.
Time.
Dave is the
Is
movie
one
where
of them AI?
Dave is like a Prince and the Pauper remake, essentially, but it's about the President of the United States.
Ooh, I remember that. It's got
Kevin Kline.
It's got Kevin Kline. I watched that.
Wait,
I saw that
thought
one a ton.
Dave was the movie where Eddie Murphy was driven by
That's
aliens.
Meat Dave.
Oh, that's Meat Dave.
The irony is Meat Dave is not made out of meat. And Paul
let's
Shear's
see.
part got cut out of Meat Dave.
Oh, no.
I do remember talking about that.
What else did this guy do? He did Seabiscuit. I don't think that's the movie that you meant.
I thought there was 3 of them.
He did Big.
That's the other one.
Oh.
That is the other one. Yeah.
Big.
Yeah,
That's a
that
good
fits
movie
in.
that I could never show my kids.
What? Oh, because someone has sex with a child.
Yeah, I don't want to have to. First, number one, I don't watch movies that have like sexual scenes in them with my kids, which is weird because by the age that I was when my kids,
you were watching like porn.
I mean, like we were watching every Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like we were watching all of those movies. I very distinctly remember being taken to see the movie Species when I was like 12.
Oh, wow.
It's a traumatic experience.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I don't know if has Arnold Schwarzenegger ever been in a sex scene?
Yeah.
In what?
Well, he was about to have sex with Jamie Lee Curtis when he's pretending to be French. And
but he just sat in a chair.
Yeah, he sits in a
and
chair.
played a tape
You might be
recorder.
right, Jim. I don't know. That's a good question.
Let's see. None of the
Arnold Schwarzenegger
Terminators.
stuff was more the violence.
Does he have sex to get pregnant in Junior? Probably not.
Yes, he has sex with Danny DeVito.
All right.
Does he have sex in Twins?
I get it.
That's twins.
We're vamping because we don't want to have to talk about the
kindergarten
hardest thing to talk about in this game, which is
The weapon
it's time
attack.
for Cloud's fucking flashback.
Well, first, okay, so the live stream's opening up, and then the
Please stop
weapon
calling
comes.
it weapon.
Well,
Its
we have
name
to
is
fight
Godzilla.
weapon first. We have to
This
find
is nothing.
Ultima Weapon.
These things are bigger than your ship on the map. They float around and shit, but when you actually fight it, it's like fucking
the other,
20 feet tall.
If you want to fight a difficult weapon, all the other weapons, like the one that chases you as a submarine, that one's a difficult fight.
Well, so that's Emerald. This is Ultima Weapon that's in Mediel, and it is the easiest weapon, but also very easy to get party wiped here if you're not leveled up enough.
I was level 50 something, so I was fine.
You were probably fine. I think I was level 30 something, and I mean, it doesn't attack. I can't remember what the attack is, but it can get you.
I was hitting a point where I was like, I only have so much time to play and I don't have time to fuck around anymore at this point. So I definitely used the cheats through this, and weapon's pretty easy when you hit it with 7 limits in a row or whatever.
Weapon attacks, you take it down, but it's like blowing up the town, the live stream splits open, and Cloud and Tifa fall into it.
That's right. Cloud, literally, it's a Dante's Peak situation. The ground splits open.
Yeah.
And fucking Cloud and Tifa. Cloud in his wheelchair. As Jim put it, it's a very Mac and Me moment.
It is. It is.
Yeah, and Tifa's like, come back!
Yeah.
So Cloud and Tifa fall into the live stream, and here Jim doesn't want to take notes about it, which I understand. But okay,
Shit gets weird. I had to do this twice.
I want to do it. I can go through this whole thing.
can I do my
Do it.
preface to it before you
Yes.
get started?
Please.
And then you can totally go. I hated this section. This is where the game really lost me as a teenager. Well, as an 18-year-old, I thought this was poop. I hated the story here. I thought it was like a waste of time. I didn't care about anything that was, I didn't understand what was happening or care about what was happening. Watching
The
it,
game does lie to you.
I was watching this as a 40-year-old. I'm like, you know what? I really like this. I think that there's a lot of good character moments. I think it's really interesting that you've got 3 different perspectives on something that happened, and each time you get to know a little bit more of the truth in kind of this like Rashomon style. I found really
We mentioned
interesting.
it last time, but part of it is you have to, which now that have been playing these games for 30 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Part of it is you have to be able to get over or see through the terrible goddamn script. I mean, it's awful.
Yeah, the script is bad, but
Translation, we'll say.
but the story is good. That is, I will definitely agree with you. The script is very bad, but I like what they're trying to do in this game, and it's not something that they've done in maybe Final Fantasy X is the only other one that really has this ambition with weird character stuff that's really interesting. Like the whole Xanarkand
yeah, it's
thing.
great. This whole thing is great. And before we dive too much into it, why don't we have Vanessa walk us through what happened?
Uh-huh.
Here we go. One drink in from memory. So, Tifa and Cloud, they fall into the hole.
Yep.
And then Tifa is wandering around. You're playing as Tifa. And she finds Cloud, but he's like transparent or something. And she's like, Cloud. And he's like, am I Cloud? I don't know. What's my deal? And she's like, I don't know. And there are these 4 branching paths. And she's like, well, I'm going to go down these paths of your memory and figure out what your deal is. So first she goes down branching path number 1, where Cloud is a little baby boy. He lives next door to Tifa. And we see Tifa shortly after her mother died. And Tifa is hanging out with her friends, her cool friends. And they look out the window and they see Cloud. And they're like, oh, it's that weird kid from next door. That kid sucks. Boo on that kid. And they're like, maybe he wants to come in. So he comes in. He sort of befriends Tifa. It seems clear that he has a crush on her. She wants to go to the mountain because that's where her mother died. And Cloud's like, okay, I'll take you up there, girl who I like. He does. They do fall off a cliff very much. Cloud is sort of okay, but Tifa goes into some kind of like coma or something for several days, but ultimately is okay. But everyone's like, Cloud is super lame. He got Tifa almost killed. And that tied into the flashback we saw where Cloud was talking like, oh, I just fell or something like that. And we realized that was that moment from his past. Because everyone hates Cloud, Cloud decides that he's going to go off and join Shinra and try to become a member of Soldier. First class. And we see a scene of him saying goodbye to Tifa. Tifa doesn't really seem to want him to go and kind of makes him promise to come back and promise to always be there to protect her when she needs it. And he's like, okie dokie, will do. I'm going to be so cool. You'll see, like, finally my days of being a loser in this town that everyone hates because I did get you fall off a cliff are over, and I'm going to be rad. Then we see the biggest reveal.
What is it?
It's the moment when Cloud and Sephiroth come back to town to do an investigation. We see the truck that we saw before, where when we saw it before, Cloud was walking around it talking about how he never gets motion sick and sort of talking to a guard who was motion sick and telling him to buck up. And we realize that image of Cloud fades away. And it's Zack.
Bum, bum, bum. Zack seems kind of cool. I want to know more about this guy.
Yeah, Zack has like a buster sword. Zack has spiky hair. Zack is super rad. He's Sephiroth's best friend, and everyone loves him. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, how can Cloud have had these memories where he's clearly not there? Zack and Sephiroth stride into town. Everyone thinks they're wicked cool. Then one of the soldiers starts acting a little weird, wandering around. And it turns out that this faceless, nameless guard is... Cloud!
Bum, bum, bum. He was embarrassed because he didn't make Soldier.
He was just
Cloud
basic.
didn't make Soldier. He was just like a basic guard. He was too embarrassed to visit his friends and to see his mom because he can't do shit. So it is he who just hangs around and guards things, and Zack who goes to the reactor with Tifa and Sephiroth and everything. It's also Zack who tries to save people when the town is burning, and Cloud is just like, I don't know, I'm just a dumb guard. I can't do anything.
No, he was knocked unconscious by Sephiroth. He was there on the ground there.
Zack is still way better than Cloud.
Yeah, for sure. And but this is also the moment where Zack goes to the reactor, and Cloud does drag himself up and follow him. So all the stuff that Cloud remembers about getting there and fighting Sephiroth, and he doesn't exactly remember what happened after that. You get a totally different version where it was Zack that first confronted Sephiroth, gets stabbed and knocked down after Tifa gets stabbed and knocked down. But then Cloud did come and pick up Tifa because he ran in after them. And then Cloud grabbed Zack's sword from him and stabs Sephiroth. As Sephiroth
stabs him right in the tum-tum.
As Sephiroth is walking away with his mom's head. Because remember, we were wondering what happened to his mom's head? You see it there in his hand. It's amazing.
Yeah, he did take it. And that was sort of Cloud's great hurrah moment where he finally proved himself.
Reveal that actually made me way more sympathetic with Cloud.
Yeah.
Like, oh, so like, I mean, the like, I was too embarrassed to talk to you stuff is like fucking hand gesture, jerk off, whatever. But the reveal that then he gets up and he goes and stabs Sephiroth right in the tum-tum is pretty fucking great.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, and it speaks a lot to his character, I think. It's a great character moment.
Yeah, because he saw that, like, basically Sephiroth killed his mom. Because Zack tries to save Cloud's mom and can't because the house is too heavily damaged. And Sephiroth he doesn't know what happened to Tifa, if she's dead or not. So he's real mad that Tifa, who he hasn't seen since he was a kid, is there super injured.
How traumatic is that you were like, oh, I'm going to come back to town, but I'm like too ashamed to show my face.
Yeah.
And you're like sleeping across the street from your home and where your mom is and you want to go talk to her and you're like, no, I'm too much of a fucking idiot. And then she gets burnt to a goddamn crisp.
Yep. And
what a terrible, tragic thing.
And that's why he's so mad that he tries to kill Sephiroth. And then, there's a great scene where they're fighting. And, this is where Sephiroth stabs Cloud through the tum-tum himself. But Cloud like lifts Sephiroth up through the sword through his tummy and then throws Sephiroth down into the Lifestream.
Yes, where Sephiroth perhaps becomes one with it.
This is where theories about Sephiroth really like split.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, did he die?
Well,
he got real stabbed and then thrown down a thing.
That's the thing. Is
Shinra thinks that he died at that point, or at least they do for a long time till he shows back up at the beginning of the game.
Well, what people kind of differ on is one, like every Sephiroth appearance up to this point, is it really Sephiroth? So one theory is you're actually seeing Sephiroth and he's the main kind of big bad of the game. He's carting his mom around everywhere, but as we talked about last episode, you see him in the Northern Crater and he's kind of suspended in this materia like situation.
Mm-hmm.
Another theory is that until the final boss fight of the game, you actually never see Sephiroth. You only see Genova's projections of him. And every time you fight Genova, it's because like she drops like a piece of herself.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot, like, of all the fan theories, that one makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, to me too. Like, I didn't really subscribe to that until relatively recently, but like, it makes sense because like, he fell into a live stream, he gets encased in this thing, and he's just as much of a puppet as Cloud is to Sephiroth.
Mm-hmm.
And Genova is the thing that's kind of running the show.
I also have a fan theory.
Ooh, tell us.
It's about romance.
Ooh.
Oh.
Do you remember
Romance?
when original Kate Sith gives his very last fortune reading? He says that Cloud and Aerith are a perfect compatible match, and he feels sorry for Tifa.
Yep.
Well, as you'll recall, Zack was Aerith's ex-boyfriend. And I believe that Cloud and Aerith are not actually a perfect match, but because Cloud had taken on Zack's persona, that is what made him good for Aerith.
And something Jim had been talking about, he said he didn't want to get into at the time, was Jim's like, he thinks Aerith knew this, basically, right? You're like, yeah, I think Aerith knows more than she's saying when she keeps asking Cloud all these kind of leading questions.
Well, she does. Like, she mentions the fact that she knew someone who was in Soldier First Class, and she kind of seems to kind of poke Cloud a little bit when it comes to Zack. And even Aerith's mom mentions it too.
Right. And at this point, Cloud, all the different forms of Cloud, including, and this is my favorite, in the live stream, there are the 4 points of Cloud, but there's also giant fetal position cloud that's
like
translucent in the corner.
Like up towards the camera.
Yeah, I love. Oh, do you think? I thought it was just a giant one. Do you think he was just close to the camera?
Yeah, I think he was just floating in the sky.
Oh, I just like the idea of just a giant fetus or fetal position cloud for some reason. It made me laugh so hard. Just like sitting there shaking his head. Oh, I love this. Is like the most Akira anime nonsense stuff, but I really, really liked it. I thought that it actually is used super well in the game.
All right, well, that's it.
So,
we did it.
Nope. Then
John's bullshit mini game. No?
I like the hiccup though.
Yeah, well.
So then Tifa and Cloud.
There was a teensy bit of burp in there too.
Are and then I guess cut to Tifa and Cloud are in the conference room of the Highwind. And Tifa makes an end of a Star Trek episode about Cloud, where she says, "Well, boy, you really sure are messed up, Cloud." And everyone's laughing and clapping, and then freeze frame on Cloud, like nodding in agreement. And the credits for Final Fantasy VII go on.
Hold on, I want to talk about something.
Sure.
So Cloud kind of becomes you learn to identify with his character. He becomes a more relatable character after this, right?
Way more relatable.
Yeah, like you.
Well, sure, he overcomes his trauma, which hopefully will have him stop being such a fucking asshole.
Yeah, and to be honest, he's a lot more positive after this.
Yes.
But have you guys seen Advent Children?
No.
They
I have seen it a few times, but I don't remember
this character.
Well, yeah.
He's basically Lifestream Cloud for the whole movie.
We can, I guess when we review it, we can talk about it.
Yeah, it's a bummer, dude. It's hard to separate it from me because I've seen Advent Children like 4 times, embarrassingly.
I wonder if the events of the remake, when they finish it, will be more like Advent Children. Like, that'll lead up to whatever happens in Advent Children.
I kind of hope not.
I bet it will. I would bet $5, Matt, that it ends up.
Here's why I would bet against you. I don't think that Advent Children was well enough received for Square to sit here and be like, "Oh, fuck yeah, like we gotta tie it into that great movie we made." I think it's more like, that thing that we need to forget about.
I don't know. I guess we'll find, and Crisis Core as well. I wonder if it'll have like Genesis Savulon or whatever.
Genesis Rhapsodos.
We'll find out next time on Square Roots.
No, we're still going.
All right, let's get into it.
But hold on. I just want to say, the end. I did like all the different versions of Cloud, like unifying into one normal human Cloud. That was pretty fun. So the gang's back together. Cloud's like, "I'm going to be your leader now. I'm finally being honest about being messed up and being kind of a loser." And
the game treats it like, at this point, Cloud is a fucking liar who's been lying to these people. Despite the fact that we kind of just saw that he's been like in a delusional state.
Mm-hmm.
It's really confusing. He's like, "I'm really sorry for lying to all of you." And they're like, "Yeah, Cloud." And you're like, what the fuck?
I mean, he was kind of who he was. He was kind of self-deluding a little bit.
Yeah. And
was he? So this whole game, the guy, has he known these things?
No,
or has he thought that he was a soldier first class?
I think he genuinely thinks what he thinks is true, although he does have, like, there's parts of him that are obviously traumatized, and like, he's, like when you're in the Honeybee Inn, you see like the real Cloud in a fetal position, like trying to talk to regular Cloud and warn him. And that I think that happens a few times where like Cloud's suppressed personality is trying to come through, but like dummy jerk Cloud is not listening or ignoring the fact that he has these doubts. But
so then it's absurd for these people to treat him like he was just like not being honest with them.
Maybe that's why they're being jokey with him, and everyone's kind of forgiven him, especially Tifa. And at this point, you can go to the Shinra mansion, which Jim has been bugging me to do, and I finally did, and get a cutscene on the ending of Zack and Cloud's story.
Yeah, this really ties it all together. Because at this point, you don't really know what happened after the reactor at Nibelheim.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah, sure. So after the events at Nibelheim, you are told that Shinra captures Cloud and Zack. And instead of releasing them, they put them into these vats and experiment on them with lots of Mako and lots of Genova cells. And what you learn is that Zack, because he's already been showered with Mako as part of the soldier program, does not react to Mako or Genova, but Cloud does.
Mm-hmm. And I have a feeling that these vats were connected somehow, and maybe that's how Cloud picked up on some of Zack's memories, but I'm not sure.
In the vats, you kind of pick up on some communication between them. But
it's one-sided. Cloud can't speak.
True, but so what you learn is that Zack plans an escape. When they're being fed, he punches the attendant guy in the face, and he jumps out and he breaks Cloud out, and they escape. I assumed that Cloud kind of imprinting on Zack from a personality standpoint happened on this truck.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
as they were being carted towards Midgar.
But I also think that they were in the tubes next to each other for, if you look at the timeline of the game, probably 4 years, 4.5 years next to each other in that lab. And I also think that Cloud, his mind was completely destroyed. So I don't think he really talked to Zack, but this made me, I never really had any opinions on Zack before, but the fact that Zack basically talked to this mentally impaired guy for years, and I would love, I don't normally want to be let's explore this more. I'd love to see in the next game or in the remake them explore this time more, because it's really interesting. Zack developing a fondness for Cloud, like a big brother kind of thing, and then rescuing Cloud, even though Cloud is mentally handicapped and does need to be helped out. You see him literally carrying Cloud through the desert. Mm-hmm. And but not treating him like a burden, treating him like a friend. And it's really nice writing, because it makes Zack such a likable character.
Yeah, even though Zack is kind of your typical cocky protagonist, because the truck driver sort of gives them a lecture on what they should do next, and says, you're young, you can do whatever you want to do and find out what you love to do. And Zack is like, you're right. I can do whatever I want to do, because I can do anything. I have the best skills, and I'm the coolest dude, and I'm going to be a mercenary. And the truck driver's like, wait, no.
Yeah, I love that. The truck driver's like, were you listening to what I said? You could be anything.
And what Zack says about being a mercenary is the exact stuff that Cloud repeats. And you can sort of, he repeats in the Seventh Heaven to the members of Avalanche. These aren't thoughts he had. He is, the timeline here, I'm guessing from sort of the way that it unfolds, is that, so this truck stuff happens, and then, Zack gets to basically right outside Midgar, where a soldier catches up with them and they RoboCop Zack.
They do, yeah.
I was not expecting Zack to get RoboCopped.
He gets shot
want you to
so
know
many
that he's
times. And his body does that flopping thing of blah, 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 blah.
It does. He gets riddled, yeah.
Yeah, he's injured, gets shot again, falls to the ground, and then the soldiers come up and just unload bullets into him. It's real bad. Then Hojo's like, well, should we kill, or the soldiers ask Hojo, should we kill Cloud? And he's like, this guy's going to die anyway, so don't worry about it. They just leave Cloud to die on the outskirts of Midgar, which makes you wonder how he got on the train. So I'm guessing the timeline here is basically that happens, and then within a space of days or weeks, that's how he ends up at the train station where Tifa finds him. And then it's maybe only a week until the operation at the reactor. So Cloud is basically knows nothing, is just repeating stuff Zack says.
Yeah.
And is
the way I think about it, Cloud is basically still high on Mako for the first third of this game.
Yeah,
so like,
and that's
yeah. So the entire time he's doing all of the Avalanche jobs and he's like doing all of the Shinra HQ stuff, he's still like kind of coming down from all this Mako Genova stuff.
And that explains all the weird reactions and why he keeps passing out.
Yeah, and why like he freaks out when he does that first bombing in the Shinra or the Mako reactor.
Mm-hmm.
Because like he's still pretty fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is really good writing. Even if
I think the translation really took the legs out from under all this story.
And I do, I'm hearing good things about the writing or the translation in remake. So maybe if this stuff is handled better, like, depending on if I like the first one, part 1, I'm going to be all in for part 2 and 3. And everyone's like saying, oh, it'll be another 7 years till part 2. It's like, no. Do you remember that 13, 1, 2, and 3 happened in the space of 4 years? Like, they'll all be out.
Half of it is just building the character models and the environments and the animations and shit. They're making another, it's not like they're upgrading the goddamn engine for Final Fantasy Remake Part 2, so it should come out pretty quick.
Yeah, like the only real stopping is COVID, but if that kind of clears up, then you're going to have, like, it's the same people that made 1, 2, and 3. They ended up taking over a lot of the projects, so I think they are used to getting out projects in the, under budget and on time. So I do think we'll see, probably on PS5, part 2 and 3 or 2, 3, 4. But I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I think so too. And from what I've heard about the way they handle the story,
I want to kill myself.
Like from what I've heard about the way they handle the story of the first part of the remake, they do a lot of really cool stuff with it, and I think it's like it sounds really compelling. And I'm excited to see what the next installments look like.
And I'm kind of curious to see how well, we'll talk about it next month for our Patreon, but I'm really excited to see how the turn-based system works. Because there is a mode where you don't play it like Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, I've heard that's not great.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see. If I don't like it, I'll let you know. If I like it, I'll let you know too. So, the next stop is Junon. And Junon, when you get to Junon, you have this like base infiltration mission that's pretty fun. You gotta like get through, you're just clearing out all these Shinra guards. They are moving the huge materia to a submarine. You try to stop it, but you can't quite stop it in time. So you get on a more different submarine. And then you have the submarine minigame, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Ooh, this is trash. Also,
I kind of really liked it.
Yeah, I'm more on that side for this one.
Ooh, this is bad. Maybe because I played it on 3x speed. There's also a materia in here. I don't remember what it is. It might be the contain materia that you get here that I totally miss.
I think you also get, is it Hades? No, Hades is
in the Gelnica. Hades is in the Gelnica.
Yeah. There is materia here, and there's one super weapon for. Oh, you know what it is? It's the Leviathan scales are here. You can miss those. And
right.
And then you get stuff for Yuffie.
Wait. What? What do you get for Yuffie?
Well, if you get the Leviathan scales in the submarine base.
Hey, Vanessa, remember how they were like, we're going to blow through this, and now they're talking about the goddamn treasures that they found?
I gotta know.
You can get her best weapon, and you can get steel as well, which you can combine with any command materia. So I am doing morph with command as well, with steel as well. So I'm stealing from them and turning them into an item.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's pretty fun. Anyway, back to so you shoot down the submarine in a terrible mini game. And then you can go back. Then they're like, oh, you need to go to Junon right away, except you don't. Just get back in the submarine and get that damn huge materia from the seafloor, which is, I love exploring the submarine.
Yeah, it's fun. An emerald weapon is down there, and he'll float around like Godzilla and like scare you.
You gotta surface the second emerald weapon shows up.
What level do you think I need to be to defeat this thing?
I don't know.
Unless I'm Jim.
60s or so?
I'm pretty close, I think. I bet with magic cheats, I could beat this thing.
I'm going to try it at the end, like before the end. I'm going to see if I can defeat it, because I know it's a hard boss fight. But anyway, Matt, so you just there's no cutscene or no like gameplay stuff. You just get the huge materia from the sub. And then they're like, well, one more thing. They're going to launch that rocket now. So you got to go all the way back to Rocket Town. You can also go to the Gelnica, but we'll talk about that next time.
I did that.
Yeah, me too. It's really fun. And I leveled up a ton there because the monsters there are super hard, but we'll talk about that next time. But now you have a sub. Driving around with the sub is really fun. You can go to Rocket Town and they're about to launch a rocket. She-Ra is not at home. You head into the rocket. You have to fight your way through. But Sid is like, I'm taking over. He'll join your party whether you like it or not. You get onto the rocket and you find out She-Ra is in there even after it launches. She's there in the,
this is terrible.
It's at least better.
This is what makes Sid a good character to me.
Is it?
Yeah. Because he not only, one, he gets to realize his dreams, which is relatable, and two, he forgives She-Ra, forgives, because she knew that the thing was going to explode.
Forgive him.
Yes, exactly. He does apologize, though.
Yeah, he finds
okay,
the
that's what I
panel
meant.
and
He
he's
apologizes to her.
He's like, oh, remember all the years ago when she said that the ship would explode if this wasn't fixed? It turns out she's right.
No,
and she saved my life and saved the rocket.
He begins to understand what happened.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, she was right. I've been a monster. Well, he doesn't say, oh, shit, I've been a monster for the past 10 years to this lady who doesn't deserve it. He doesn't say that. He just says, sorry.
And he lived next to that thing, and he never walked out there and was like, is it broken, or is she an idiot?
That is true. In those, 5 years, he could have gone through and been like, you know what, I'm going to check that thing. And
I also
saw
want
that
to
it was
say,
broken.
and she never grabbed him by the ear and just drug him out there and was like, look, fucking asshole, this thing's broken.
Well, I
I saved
understand.
your life.
Because
Good
sometimes
job,
you're
plot hole Van Zandt.
That is not a plot hole. If you live with someone and have a
Plot
legitimate
hole Van
argument with you're like, well, I could tell them this, but also I don't want to confront them because they are far better at arguing and I know we'll drag other stuff into it. So I'm not even going to try. That is something I totally relate to.
I think he knew in his heart of hearts that she was right and he just couldn't accept it.
And the only way that he
Agreed.
could accept it is that it exploded next to him and almost crushed him under a piece of debris, which they have to. So there is a launch sequence. It does launch into space. The huge materia is locked into a sort of safe containment system that you can figure out via you have a certain time limit to figure out what the right numbers are. If you just punch it in the right combo the first time, the game's like, well, you must have known this ahead of time, but it's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the game
I think I fucked it up the
Clearly
first time.
Googled that.
yeah, well, it does say you knew this. I did, game.
This part of the game is fucking ridiculous, by the way. So you're just in space.
But you're not floating.
That's a good point that I did not notice while I was watching the game. I mean, maybe it has an anti-gravity system. You don't know.
Wait, you're not floating in space?
Well, your characters are not weightless.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's easily explainable, John. There's an
John.
a gravity whatever the fuck on the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, a gravity whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So the rocket is you do get a really fun cutscene because this rocket should not have been able to take off. It's blasting through its support structures and wrecking the town. It just totally destroys Rocket Town.
I've definitely hit that, oh my God, Van. Stupid goddamn brain. The,
Pizza.
What's it called when you get kidnapped
Seashell.
and then you start to fall in love with them?
Stockholm Syndrome.
Stockholm Syndrome. Thank you, Vanessa. The game has hit that Stockholm Syndrome point with me where I'm starting to find the terrible polygon graphics charming
Oh yeah,
in these cutscenes.
yeah, they
Matt,
are lovely.
will you make me a promise, Matt?
It's a lot to ask.
It is. Maybe once you hear the promise, you'll see the wisdom of agreeing to it.
Why didn't you
Matthew.
ask him to agree after he's heard it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll tell you. Matt, will you promise to finish this Final Fantasy VII playthrough before you get so sucked into the Final Fantasy VII remake that you don't play anything else?
That's in like 2 days.
Better start now, buddy.
Well, Matt?
I answered this question.
And the answer was a resounding no.
We'll see what happens.
Matthew will finish this game when the remake is done in 2027.
I don't know that anybody on this podcast other than John has the right to talk shit to me about not finishing games, I think. So, boy, we'll see what happens.
And I'm just used to it. It's fine.
It's fine. I actually am kind of afraid that I'm not going to like the Final Fantasy VII Remake game.
Shut up.
So
that combat... John made me scared. He's like, it's all about fucking staggering enemies. And I'm like, ugh, that's not how I like to play games. I like it when you press the button and the sword goes swingy and then hit them hard and they go, ouch,
You're
ouch,
always
ouch.
like, I love tactics games. I love card games. I love
That's
all
a different
this
kind
bullshit.
of game. If you give me full control of the character, I have a tough time not having full control of the character.
got to go into Gestalt mode and then weather down their perseverance. Anyway.
Yeah. Exactly. But in Zelda, I can walk up to the toughest boss in the game and be like, I hit you with my sword in the face enough times, you're going to fall over.
Yeah. So, you've got this rocket that now you might be wondering, hey, how is our cast going to survive? They're on a rocket that's going to collide with a meteor, like in the movie Armageddon.
Meteor. Rocket Meteor.
But
my favorite movie.
But Sid's like, oh yeah, there is an escape pod for just such a scenario. So let's get in on that.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about Deep Impact versus
Nope.
Armageddon.
Although it does relate to it because this is a Deep Impact versus Armageddon scenario. Right after we did have a volcano versus
we did
Dante's Peak scenario.
Mm-hmm. This is the most 90s game of all.
Does anybody prefer Deep Impact to Armageddon? I don't think so.
I do.
You can't.
Well, okay.
You cannot.
Here's my reasoning. Armageddon is freaking terrible.
It is.
Armageddon's
dude, it sucks.
like awful.
I definitely haven't watched
It's
either since I was a
shitty.
teenager.
It's insulting. It's just like, I just hate Michael Bay's movies though. Like,
It's a Michael Bay
me
movie.
too.
yeah. Yeah. And they're garbage and I don't have to watch them and I don't have to like them.
At least like Deep Impact tried to be a movie.
It wasn't great.
It wasn't great, but like it tried to tell very human stories about what happened, not these big macho, big dick driller people.
And it had many people. It had your astronauts, but it also had reporters and sort of normal people.
Had
and,
Elijah Wood driving a dirt bike trying to outrun a flood.
Yeah, 15-year-old Elijah Wood and his teen bride, Leah Sovinieski, or whatever his name is.
It did. It had a Good Son cameo.
Mm-hmm. You all have. He's not a cameo. Is that a cameo? Isn't he a major?
Yeah, he's a major
Good Son
character.
bit parts.
Which one? Cameo
Which one
is.
had Brent Spiner?
That would
Armageddon.
be Independence Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking of. Thanks for
Fuck, that's
clearing
a
that
good
up.
movie right there.
Anyway, so
So Independence Day or Mars Attacks? Which one do you guys like better?
Mars Attacks.
Independence Day.
Which
Mars Attacks.
one has Sex in the City with her head on a dog's body?
That is Mars
That's
Attacks.
terrible.
And Pierce Brosnan.
Mars Attacks.
Both of them have their heads on dogs' bodies at the end.
I forgot about that.
And it has Tom Jones as himself.
It does have Tom Jones as like a hero.
Mm-hmm.
It's not unusual to finish this
Anyway,
episode.
so
It is a
so they're gonna Deep Impact Mars Attacks this meteor.
They're gonna Armageddon this thing.
Sorry,
I like how
Armageddon.
there's 3 or 4 big, huge materials. There's 4, right? And
There's 3.
they only get the one. No, there's 4.
They only get the one, and you take it out of the safe anyway.
No, there's 3, right? It's Fort Condor.
No,
there's
it's
4.
underwater
Collect
reactor.
3.
It's Corel.
Mm-hmm.
You collect 3, and there's one on the
There's
rocket.
one on the rocket as well. Yeah, Matt's right here, Jim. There are to get Bahamut 0, you have to have 4 big, huge, large materials.
Whatever, guys.
So you take
I don't
the
even
fourth
like
one
to
Tell
out.
me more about getting Bahamut 0.
I mean, it does, even if it had all 4 in there, it wouldn't have worked. So don't think that you've actually ruined the planet by sabotaging this rocket. You didn't.
How do you know it wouldn't work?
Because you can play it the other way. You can see because
I just wanted that materia. I was like, this just doesn't seem like a good, well thought out idea.
It is not.
But you can play it the other way and sacrifice one, or you can play it the other way and put all 4 in?
You can play the other way and have them launch all 4, but you can only take one. At that point, you can only take one out of the safe.
Huh. Weird.
And, either way, it's the same cutscene. So, you get into the escape pod in the nick of time. You get that piece of debris off of Sid. Sid apologizes to She-Ra. The rocket hits the meteor. It explodes a little bit, but the rocket has like lightning electric powers to keep itself kind of together. So it doesn't explode as well as you thought it would have. And,
like chunks fall off, but number one, it looks like there's like a brain inside this meteor.
Yeah, there's something going on in this meteor. And you get into an escape pod. And once again, this happened two times in a row. You get on the escape pod and then cut to back on the high wind. Everything's fine. They do mention offhand that, we were floating in the ocean for a week waiting to get rescued. But you don't get to see it. They only mention it. And that is the end of this chunker.
Yay.
Did we finally do it?
We'll talk about Bugenhagen next time.
I'm excited about that. This was the first time I'd ever done these real master materias before.
Yeah, me too. I haven't got these huge ones.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
This is my first time getting all the huge materia. So I'll get to see
those huge ones, boy.
As opposed to what?
You don't have to get the huge materias.
But if you get these like huge materias, these master ones, the game is pretty much over.
Yeah, because then you get Bahamut Zero.
You get if you get the master. Okay, maybe I'm confusing because you can get Bahamut Zero and like, these ones from Bugenhagen. But if you get the master ones, which now that I say that, I don't think you get here. I think you get after you beat Emerald Weapon.
Oh,
gives you every command, every summon, every magic.
Whoa.
Jeez. Those sound fun.
What?
Yeah. If you beat the weapon that's under the water, you can go to the guy in Calm and get the master materias, which give you everything.
I'm going to go get those.
So where are we playing to next time, Jim?
Next time, let me check the notes here. Next time we are playing through the end of the fight with Hojo. And spoiler alert, you should probably have Barrett in your party for this.
Oh.
Because there are only a few items in this game that you can skip and never get again, and this is one of them.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Barrett's missing score, which is his ultimate weapon, you can miss if you don't have him in your party.
So, for bullshit minigames, we do have the slap fight, which I would rate 5 out of 5 cactuars, even if I failed it, because it's ridiculous.
Did you? It's really dumb. Like, you just have to hit the button.
She's a trained martial artist.
Yeah, no, it's real offensive.
There is the button pressing on the rocket, which is just learning a code from a guide or figuring it out if you have time.
Yeah.
There is stopping the train, which is incomprehensible and one up there of the worst mini games. Maybe in the last episode I'll rank the worst mini games because that's definitely up there. And finally, there's the sub mini game, which you can play again in the arcade later at Gold Saucer. And this one's not so bad. I don't know. It was kind of
it sucks.
If you just jam the missile attack button as soon as the minigame starts, you can win it because the red submarine starts right under you.
I actually failed it and had to do it a second time on a restart, which is why I had to redo the entire goddamn fucking Cloud's inner mind thing.
Oh no.
Yeah, I really fucked it up. I had a phone call and I got distracted and was like, well, I'm sure I saved. Nope, sure didn't. Anyway.
I'm at 100 and something saves at this point, I think.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I go back and forth between 3.
I filled up, I'm on my 6th set of 16 slots, so.
That's crazy, John.
That is crazy.
I am a little cuckoo.
Anyway, I agree with John. I thought the sub minigame was fun. I liked it. I liked blowing stuff up, and I don't know what it was. It's not hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun.
Yeah, I would give the sub minigame like a good 3 out of 5 cactuars because it's at least fun.
So you give the slap fight 5,
yeah.
even though it's just some button mashing.
I just
and
really
it's kind
like
of offensive.
it because it's so dumb.
But the sub minigame, which is actually fun, you give a 3?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, your ratings suck.
Yeah. So again,
You should be ashamed of yourself. Make big peace with your God.
next time, play to the end of the fight with Hojo. Squarely against Matt. What are you squarely against?
Let me.
Vanessa, what are you squarely against?
Thank you.
I am roundly for Zach being a dumb boy, jock boy who is the real hero of the game, and Cloud is just a loser. I think it's pretty great.
Vanessa, do you want us to all get PSP so we can play Crisis Core?
Hell yeah, dude. I want to play Crisis Core.
Yeah,
Watch a
let's
speed
do
run.
it.
Is there a Crisis Core speedrun online?
Probably. I'm sure.
Dude, I'll watch that.
Jim.
Matt.
Yeah.
Matt. What are you squarely against?
John.
I'm roundly for
Vanessa.
I'm roundly for the Cloud was the soldier that you saw in the original cutscene reveal. That to me was fucking great. I
Cloud is the time cop.
I yelped when I realized it. Like, I was like, wait, no, he was in the cutscene? It was
the whole
I mean, it's nothing, gang,
time.
but I really liked it. Jim, what are you squarely against?
I am roundly for the cutscene of Cloud and Zack escaping. But also I'm squarely against the fact they make this a hidden cutscene. They should have made this explicit because it really, like, puts a bow on, like, Cloud's past experiences.
Yeah, I like zoned out while y'all were talking about it, but the one takeaway that I got was, oh shit, I actually have to go watch that.
Yeah,
it's definitely worth it.
It's the thing that, like, ties Cloud and Zack together in a way that makes his memory experiences make sense. And they should have made it, like, more explicit. Like, they should have just been like, hey, you need to go to the Shinra mansion to find this thing or to confront, like, Hojo should have been there or something. But, like, they made it this weird secret thing that I first played this game, like, in 1999, and I didn't see this cutscene until, like, 2 years ago. Like, they should have done this a lot more explicitly.
Oh, and they also do explicitly talk about dressing Cloud in Zack's outfit for some reason. I don't know why, but they do mention that it's like, oh, this looks good on you when they get him to put on Zack's outfit.
Well, yeah, and they mention, like, when they escape, they give Cloud a shirt, and he's like, oh, this is dirty, but I guess it fits. And it's like, it's Zack's, like, soldier shirt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's good. It ties everything together really well.
Mm-hmm. And, finally, me, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, go,
Okay.
John.
I am roundly for Zack being an actually awesome character. Even if he's only got like 2 minutes of screen time, he's really charming throughout those 2 minutes. Even if he's a big dummy. All right. We have Patreon.
We have Patreon. The vote is over. Final Fantasy X Part 2 is the next game.
Have you guys started it?
No. I bought it.
No, but I look forward to starting it. I have some time on my hands.
I've had a few different listeners message me and say how excited they are to have us play this, so.
Really?
Yeah.
So, anyway, but we do have a Patreon, and if you are interested, we do bonus episodes every month, and those are varied. Sometimes they're Square Roots Versus, sometimes they're Square Roots Instant Classic Sixes, sometimes
Goofy level ups.
So, oh boy. You're the devil in my chest.
Vanessa,
sometimes
what
they
are you squarely against, girl?
I already did it.
Oh.
Anyway, we do a bunch of fun level stuff on the Patreon, and there's also a higher $5 tier where you can vote on the games that we're going to play. As I'm sure that you know, being the 8th episode of Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy X just won, 10-2, and we're going to play that next. But do you know what we love to do at the end of every episode?
Read our patrons' names.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, we have to read stuff? Okay, I'll go first. Because I'm first on the list. Matthew Casterline, Joshua Bennett, Benjamin Abner, G. Bailey, Randy Pierce, Tyler Petty, support Colin Kaepernick, don't watch the NFL, Vanessa's fourth mom, Citrus C, Samu Mitchell, Sean Walsh, Megan Sullivan, Miguel Torres, Andrew, Cloud Strife's distant cousin, Rainy Altercation, Ross Hartley, Andres Rivera, Jonathan Smith, George Brady, Grayson, Sling Thing Ping Ringy Dingy, Cloudy with a Chance of Meteor, Matthew Newland, Michael Crawford, Christian Go, Kevin Mosser, Matthew sounds like TJ Miller, Joseph, Adam Zimmerman,
That's
Robert
insulting.
M. Pollum, Travis Nickerson, Tavis Nickerson, and that one guy.
We'd also like to thank Matt Jorgensen, Lex Averial, Rusty Kamada, Stephen Paget, David Green, Jake Dickerson, Tom, Eric Garby, Stephen Kroc, Metal Gear Solid 1 in 2021, never, Wash in the Wind, Ashley T, Bregarth, Reddit is Harold Lauder. Does anybody get that one?
I mean, I know
Never
who
gotten it.
he's that nerdy guy from The Stand, the one who like betrays the good guys to the bad guys and then gets like dies in the desert because he like crashed his motorcycle.
It's a Kiwami, Mario. Good, let the hate flow through you. Andy Best, Gage, Lasharite, Chris Pignac, Sean Gonzalez, Cyril the Wolf, Mary, Queen of Scoffs, D. Jethro, Isaac Wright, the Phantom Scofflaws of the Opera, Armin Hammer, Galindo, and John totally did Vanessa's mom.
Oh no.
Rising
Daddy?
Hopper,
Daddy?
Captain Awesome.
Daddy? Moistgasm, your pal.
Oh, Daddy Moistgasm.
Your pal, Joseph Panacotta Flamingo? Florian Jonas Kramer, Ward Childress, Ron thinks that Cloud and Vincent are twinks and Sid is daddy. Ari Corpivara? Ari Corpivara.
Capybara.
Ari Capivara. PJ Ennis,
Capybara.
Jameson, James Hostetler, Mike Bloomberg is Shinra, Aaron Little, Ryan Miller, Nathan Poirot, Andy Smith, Lyral of the Clare, Lyral of the Clary, Dr. Stephen
Lyriel?
Stone, Mr. Mallard, Robert J. Defendi, Justin Rash, Wonder Swan, Chris Ryan, Just Jerry, The Mighty Monarch, Tracy Tanoff, Racist Jenkins, G.O.S.A. Gregory.
I'd like to thank friend Alexander Jokic, friend Hudson Roth, friend Huxley Iguana, friend Justin Ham, friend Devin
Knock it
Sloan,
off.
friend MV, friend Jonathan Ellsworth, friend Cameron Shoei, friend Nofford, friend Brady A. Berman, friend Andrew Leinart, friend Patrick W. Bears, friend Hexagon, friend Jared Collins, friend Robo Vanessa's Robo Mom, friend Brian Pitt, friend finds everyone's name, at least it annoys Matt, friend T. Bumpkins, friend Sean, friend KGG Loth, friend Grandma's sexy boy toy is Squall, who would beat Cloud in a fight, friend Amanda Douglas, friend Aaron Bachman, friend Paul Bursch.
That was multiple names.
I mixed them together.
So Squall would beat Cloud in a fight is not your friend. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Chewy, I hardly know he, friend Stu Skeel, friend Anthony Cruz, friend Go Home Square Roots, you're
Did
drunk, friend
Yeah.
Robert T, friend
Usually.
Cake Ninja, and friend Grey Code.
All right, everybody, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you would like your email read on the air, you can email us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. And thanks to Tetrimino for letting us use their fantastic version of JENOVA and Birth of a God. You can support Tetrimino on Patreon and YouTube as Tetrimino VG Band.
Do it.
All right, everybody, for Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zandt.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm exhausted.
Did you ever get those Butterfingers?
You know what? No. They are you know what? Listeners, never eat a Butterfinger again.
Don't say that, Jim.
Bleep that out.
Don't believe in that.
Didn't they say they were going to ship it like on May or April 18th? It's not even the 18th
No, they
yet.
said it would arrive today.
Well, then I'd give it a little bit of time.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
should
New
give it
York
like
is
5 or 6
New York is
days.
being ravaged by a terrible virus, so I guess we should give them a little bit of time.
A little benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that thousands of people are dying in your city. Where's my swag?
Yeah.
I want my shirt that says Final Fantasy VII Cloud loves Butterfingers. He's like, don't lay a finger on my Butterfinger.
See that, Matt?
Hell yeah, John. We're gonna do it. Create your beefy characters to fight me.
Well, I'll stick with the pre-mates for most.
You can. The nice thing about it is you can. I mean, I guess that they're all they should always be like this, I imagine. But like, you choose which moveset, which weapon they're going to use, and then they just play like that person. But you can take them online and stuff.
Guys, we're like
you
37 minutes in and we haven't even talked about Final Fantasy VII yet.
Yeah,
God, we haven't even
listeners, I would
started.
like to talk about a less recorded aspect of social distancing.
No.
And that's where you don't talk to anyone all day. So when you hop on your podcast to talk to your good friends, you just talk. You're just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, human contact. I can
Well,
hear
also-
a voice in my head.
Not a lot happens in this episode, so we kind of have to.
What?
Because it's not like we have to reveal the entire plot or anything.
This is the most action-packed, crazy chunker ever in
then we should
Square
probably talk
Roots
about it.
history.
There's one of the funniest cutscenes in RPG history, I think, is in this episode. Matthew and I had a good laugh about it the other night.
Yeah, she's into it. She's like, hello, world. We have whittled it down to our final 5.
Is she-
And now
How do
we
you know
get to
she's
decide.
You go first.
I was going to say, is she like the Shinra PR
No,
person?
Vanessa, go first.
sorry.
We interrupted Vanessa.
Too many people on this show.
You interrupted
John,
my bit,
can you
and
make
now
sure-
it's gone.
Oh my gosh,
Gone to
I'm
the
so
wind.
sorry.
John, can you make sure that you leave my can openings in? I think the fans really like that.
Okay.
If you ever wonder why sometimes they come and they're like, boy, you guys sounded really drunk that episode. Honestly, I don't think that it's so much how we act as it is the fucking snapped cans that I
I have
leave
a
in.
feeling it's me slurring my words doing the outro
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah, I do that too sometimes. This episode, I like totally fucking misspoke about something, and I just kind of like left it in. Like, I guess, like I blended 2 words into 2 other words and was like, I don't know what to say about this.
We're doing
So
great.
anyway, we go to Midiel.
No, Vanessa. We're
Vanessa,
interrupting
please.
Vanessa.
Vanessa, please.